Hello, my friends from Jeffersonville, or what I hear is called Kentuckiana. I'm so sorry I can't be with you in person, but my heart is with all of you. Now, tonight we're going to have some fun. You're going to hear brain health, all about brain health from the heart of a pediatrician. I've been a pediatrician for 50 years and with 8 children. And after all that time, you begin to think like a child, talk like a child, and my wife Martha says sometimes act like a child. So tonight you all get the fun version of brain health. Now I guarantee you will learn something you never heard before. I'm going to take you deeply inside the brain and reveal to you Nobel Prize winning research. Wow. Now my wish for all of you is that you will leave the room with your own personal brain health toolbox, walking out with a toolbox that will make you live happier and healthier and longer the rest of your life. So let's get started. Now, many of you have been given our newest book, the Dr. Sears T5 Wellness Plan, and everything you hear tonight is in the book. So if we ran out, please go ahead and get one. They're on Amazon and all the stores. And basically, what you'll learn tonight is the 5 keys to brain health. And you hold these 5 keys in the palm of your hand. Now, before I start, I want to give a little personal revelation. I have been in therapy myself for many years. Yes, I've been in therapy, but I'm happy to report I'm in recovery, but I want you to meet my therapist. There's Martha. I began therapy 51 years ago, and there's me before and after therapy. We just celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary. There's our picture of our 50th wedding anniversary with my therapist, and the gray hairs are the 8 children. I'm also happy to report that my sessions, shall we call them, with my therapist have been very productive. Yes, productive. Our 14 grandchildren, there's our family. Now, after I presented this, a bunch of men came up after the talk a few months ago and said, you know, Dr. Bill, we've never heard it called sessions before. And I said, whatever it takes to get you guys to pay attention. Now, also, doctors marry nurses because we live longer. 20 years ago, I had a health crisis, cancer. My nurse sat me down and said, Bill, you have to eat more fruits and vegetables. And that's how I became a medical advisor to the Juice Plus company. Martha sat me down with the Juice Plus capsules full of concentrated fruits and vegetables and gave me that beautiful feminine look that just disarmed me and said, just take it. And I said, yes, dear. And those 3 words transformed my life. The Juice Plus family, which many of you are in tonight, hold your hands up for all those who actually take Juice Plus are in the Juice Plus family. Great. Welcome to the family. It's the best health club I've ever joined. Now, my interest in the brain began with the birth of child number 7. We have so many children, we have to number them sometimes. Child number 7, Stephen. Stephen was born differently able, not disabled, but differently abled. He came into the world with a different brain. So we as parents had to develop a different brain so we could understand him. So we figured out, what does Stephen need? We couldn't change his genes. But that was, way back then, was the whole new science called epigenetics, and nutrigenetics was just coming out, which simply means you can't change the genes, but how you feed the body, how you move the body, how the body thinks can help the genes behave better. So, first thing we want to do is get Stephen into sports. There's Stephen, the master golfer, written up in Golf Magazine. His nickname at the golf club is Harry Putter. There's Stephen hitting a home run in Special Olympics. There's Stephen with his girlfriend, Gina, who also has Down syndrome, because besides sports, what else is good for the brain? Falling in love. So there's Stephen going to the prom with his girlfriend. Again, differently abled. Please, folks, remember that term, differently abled. I have a better brain because of Stephen, because he taught me a new language that I had to learn. Now, another thing that got me so interested in the brain was technology. Once upon a time, we kind of guessed what was going on in there. You know, you go to a therapist and they kind of guess what is going on in there. Now we can take a picture. Here's a man who had a bunch of the Ds, OCD, depression, a bunch of the Ds. And you'll see there on the left with the arrow, the SAD center, about the size of a quarter. 8 weeks after what we call think changing the brain. Hey, Joe, think this, not that. Think happy thoughts only, trash sad thoughts. After 8 weeks of think changing the brain therapy, his SAD center shrunk or shrinks. Maybe that's where we got the term shrink from the size of a quarter to the size of a dime. So technology opened the world of the brain, that we can actually change the structure and function of the brain by how we think. Wow. Now, mommy brain. How many here are moms? Oh, great. In my humble opinion, you are doing the most important job in the world, growing and nurturing a human being. Now, the term mommy brain used to be sort of a derogatory term. You know, you forget your car keys, you miss your appointment. No, mommy brain is real. When you grow a baby, you grow an area in your brain that's like a radar system, a GPS, that tells you about your baby. You tune into your baby. You know something's going on. It's mommy brain into baby brain. Now, do daddies get a brain too? Daddy brain? Sort of. It takes a little bit longer to develop. But daddy brain, you can see it when you take your toddler to the monkey bars for the first time. Mommy brain says, be careful, honey. Daddy brain says, climb higher, dude. They're both correct. A beautiful balance. And Martha was so tired of being asked, well, what do you do? I have 8 children. Well, what do you do? So finally she kind of coined this little expression, I'm a specialist in early childhood development. And moms, you can use that. Okay. She's so sensitive. Or he's so sensitive. How often have we heard that? Now, if you've been labeled this, or somebody has called you, oh, you're so sensitive, take it as a compliment. What we need in the world is more sensitive people. School shootings, bullying is the result of that person is not sensitive. They can't think before they act. They can't project into the mind of another person and imagine how my actions might affect the other person. So we need sensitive people. However, it comes with a price. If you are so sensitive, that dial, the sensitivity dial, you're always on the verge. If it dials up too high, anxiety, dials down too low, depression. That means that sensitive people, which many of you probably are, need to carry around the toolbox of sensitivity sort of modulators and balancers that you're going to now hear about. Okay, the brain. Why are we talking about the brain? Denise asked me to talk about the brain because every year doctors get together and they vote, which is the sickest organ of the body. The heart always wins until last year. For the first time in American history, the heart is now not as sick as the brain. The brain is sicker than the heart. Cerebral vascular diseases have now outrun cardiovascular diseases. And this is why we're talking about the brain. So let's get started. Imagine that you are now motivated to take charge of all the brain health problems in your family. Let's imagine you sit down and say, oh man, I've got a family full of Ds, we call it, AD, Alzheimer's disease. My dad has AD. My husband has OCD. My children have ADHD and ADD, and I've got the D, depression, and we've got a whole family full of Ds. So you go online and you find the top doc in the world for your family full of Ds. You hop on a plane and you go to top doc's office and you walk in the doctor's office and you say, doctor, now I must show me the science type of patient. I want the top medicine in the world for my family full of Ds. But I don't want this stuff that causes all these side effects that makes you have a weird mood. I want the safest, best, most scientifically researched brain medicine in the world. So top doc looks at you and she congratulates you for being a take charge patient and says, I am now going to give you the #1 medicine in the world that has the best science behind it and no side effects. Are you ready for this? You're going to be surprised. Dr. Mom said it years ago. Eat more fruits, veggies, and seafood, and go outside and play. There's more science behind what Dr. Mom said than all the pills in the world. And this is what we're going to talk about tonight. Why fruits and veggies and seafood and other foods are so good for the brain, smart foods we call them, and why going outside and play is so good for the brain. And one of the points on this slide won the Nobel Prize. Okay, what is it about the brain that made Dr. Mom so right about fruits and veggies? One simple word, fat. The brain is mostly fat, 60% fat. So if someone calls you a fathead, take it as a compliment. We are all fatheads. Now, what is it about fat that causes the brain to, degenerate or get ill? You ever had a piece of fresh fish? Fish is full of fat, healthy fats, and you left it out all night and you smell it in the morning and it sort of stinks. Medically, that is called oxidation. The fish oxidizes. Fat oxidizes. So, if the brain is full of fat and the brain oxidizes, naturally, what do we need to eat more of? Antioxidants. That was simple. That sort of fits. Brain oxidizes, eat more antioxidants. You can do that. Antioxidants. So that is a simple explanation of why we need to eat more fruits and veggies and seafood, the top antioxidant foods. And Dr. Mom was right. All right, now, with that background of why your brain needs more fruits and veggies, I'm going to now take you inside your body and reveal to you Nobel Prize winning research that inside your body you have a giant pharmacy. Now, where would you put that pharmacy? Let's say you were the great designer of the greatest organ, the greatest computer, the greatest machine ever built, the human body and the human brain. Where would you put the pharmacy if you wanted the medicines to get into the bloodstream the quickest? Well, you would put them in the lining of the blood vessels. Call it the silver lining. The medical term is endothelium. So look carefully, please, at this slide. It's the most important of the whole evening. And I want you all to take a visual snapshot of this slide. look at it carefully, then close your eyes for about 5 seconds and file it into your brain. File it into your brain. And then tonight before you go to bed, I want you to replay it. So follow me closely. The bottom artery is a healthy artery. Let's say that's a person from Louisville. Okay, from Louisville. That person did everything his mom said. Eat more fruits and veggies, take the right fruit and veggie supplements, eat more seafood, and go outside and play and run more. Notice that artery. It's wide open. The blood is flowing fast. But notice what's in the lining there. It says RX on it. Medicine bottles. The lining of your endothelium, the silver lining, has trillions of microscopic medicine bottles. Now, do they look like that? No, they actually look like little squirt bottles under a microscope. And those squirt bottles, actually, they've identified 23 medicines so far. There will be more. Medicines that lower the highs, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, high blood cholesterol, medicines that raise the lows, antidepressants, medicines that mellow your moods, anti-anxieties, medicines that heal the hurts, anti-inflammatories. And I just mentioned most of the medicines that many people take. But the medicines you make are better and safer than the medicines you take because they're custom made just for you. They come out at the right time and the right dose. Medicare will love you. Now, notice the artery on the top. Someone from, I won't mention you can all argue about whether it's in Kentucky or Indiana, but let's say the top one could be Indiana. Let's call him Sam the sitter. And you'll notice the artery is more narrow. Sam sits too much. In fact, a brand new topic in the doctor's dictionary in the last year is called the sitting disease. There really is a label to this. So Sam sits too much, strike one. Sam puts too much sticky stuff, remember that term? Puts too much sticky stuff, all those bad foods you see him eating. He puts too much sticky stuff into his mouth, strike two. And you notice that kind of sticky stuff on top of the medicine bottles? This is the key. You put sticky stuff in your mouth, you get sticky stuff on top of your medicine bottles. Pharmacy closed. Strike three. Illness, pharmacy closed. Wellness, pharmacy open. Which pharmacy do you want in your body? Now you notice over on the left there that little thing called VEG, V-E-G-F. Now VEGF is one of the medicines that your internal pharmacy makes. It's called vascular endothelial growth factor. I call it VEG. What that actually is, it's another term is brain growth fertilizer. You actually make fertilizer for your brain. So what makes that veg come out? Movement. That's what we're going to see in a minute. How movement makes veg come out and fertilize your brain. Now, I was giving this talk a few years ago in Nashville. You know, Nashville's the music capital of the country. And I thought it was a talk just like this tonight, you know, mostly adults, some kids, but mostly adults. Now, kids also pay attention tonight. Pay attention because there's lots of fun stuff for you to go home and tell your mom and dad and grandma and grandpa. Okay, so after the talk, so I went in the talk and I see, my gosh, there are 150 kids sitting down front. And I thought, uh-oh, I've got to change my talk real quick from an adult talk to a kid talk. That was easy being a pediatrician. I talk to kids all day. So I said, okay, we're going to have a visit to Veggie Land. A visit to Veggieland. Wow. And I talked about the medicine bottles and making your own medicine, the pharmacy. And after the talk, and I saw all these kids drawing pictures. I thought, well, when kids are bored, they draw. I was wrong. They weren't bored. They got it. And this is just one of the many little drawings that the kids brought up to me after the talk. This is Annabelle. Annabelle's 10 years of age. And she came up to me and says, Dr. Sears, I will always remember veg. They love that. Grow your brain garden. Grow your brain garden with veg. The brain is the greatest garden ever grown. And what do you need to grow your garden? You need to feed and fertilize it. Veg. I will always remember how to make veg. Wow. So kids get it. Another mom came up to me. I was giving this talk to a first grade class one time, and a mom came up to me the day after the class and said, guess what happened last night? After your talk, my 6-year-old did this. That night, Dad put us all into the van, and we went to a burger joint. Let's call it McSticky's. And as we drove into McSticky's, my 6-year-old scolded Dad. Daddy, we can't put that sticky stuff in our mouth. We'll get sticky stuff on top of our medicine bottles, and we won't make veg. My goodness, can you imagine what Dad thought? Where on earth did you get that? School teachers in the crowd, moms and dads, grandparents, kids get it. Kids get it. You put sticky stuff in your mouth, you get sticky stuff all over your body. Okay, now, fruits and veggies and seafood are antioxidants. They help keep the sticky stuff off your medicine bottles. What is it about movement? Why did Dr. Mom say go outside and play? And this is what won the Nobel Prize. Now look at this picture closely. When you move, when you dance, when you walk fast, when you run, when you swim, movement makes the blood flow faster over the tops of the medicine bottles. And it creates an energy field called a shear force. And that force opens the medicine bottles. That's what happens when you move. And you want to have some fun tomorrow, say you're out walking real fast with a group of friends, and you're walking fast and you say, oh, it feels so good to be making my own medicines. I'm opening my pharmacy. I'm fertilizing my brain. I'm making brain growth fertilizer. Now kind of look at you, where'd you go last night? No, that's what movement does. So that's why when you go to your doctor, the doctor says, hey, Joe, man, you got to move more. But they don't tell you why. This is the why behind the what. Yes, you need to move, but this is why. To open your own pharmacy. You need the self-help skills to make your own pills in addition to, and sometimes instead of, the pills that are prescribed. Okay. Get fit, the heart and the brain. Buddies in health. Now let me take you into a brain conference that I went to last year. Best brain conference I've ever been to. My friend, the day before the conference, says, Bill, you can be my guest. They were sold out, but I got you a guest ticket. Come on up to Los Angeles, and there are over 1,000 of the top brain specialists in the world coming together for a conference to learn what's new in brain health. So at the end of a 3-day conference, they always have what they call a closing keynote, where a top brain specialist gets up and talks about the new research, and is often what is the newest medicine, the newest drug for the brain. So Dr. John Ratey, professor of neuropsychiatry, Harvard Medical School, gets up and absolutely surprises the crowd. And we're all waiting for the newest medicine. And he starts leading up with, I'm going to present to you the best medicine in the world that is most scientifically researched. There are more science articles on this one medicine than any other drugs you're going to find, and we're all waiting. And what is it? Movement. He called exercise miracle grow for the brain, fertilizing your brain. Are you surprised? So this is why movement is one of the best medicines you can make in your body for brain health. Now, I wish I were there with you right now, because here's where I demonstrate one of the top medicines for brain health. But I need an exercise partner, the top exercise for brain health. And I call an exercise, preferably a female partner, and I call a lady up from the audience, and we dance about 30 seconds to one of my favorite dances, Rock Around the Clock, Bill Haley and the Comets. So sorry, I can't dance with you right now, but you can imagine Rock Around the Clock. And you know, it's funny, I'm a little bit out of breath, and at one of the, after one of the talks says, Bill, at 78, are you over the hill? I said, yes, and I'm picking up speed. So dance is one of the most wonderful exercises for the brain. Now, I learned this years ago. My wife, Martha, was such a good dancer, but I was a klutz. And I realized, when I realized how good dancing is for the brain, I said, I have to learn how to dance. It took me 10 years of lessons, but I became a pretty good dancer. So after one of our dances, I kind of, one of the fun things we do in our marriage is I write Martha these corny poems. You want to hear a corny poem I wrote to her after a dance? Okay. Martha, 50 years ago, when you said, I do, did you really think it through? But then you knew our marriage had a chance when your klutzy husband learned how to dance. So that's, Martha has survived 50 years of my kind of corny poems. So dance, enjoy it, dance the night away. Okay, what's in your arteries? Now, young people, pay close attention, because this is an artery from many of the patients we doctors see every day. And actually, it's a diagram of a close friend who actually felt fine, took pretty good care of himself, but at age 54 just did not wake up one morning from a heart attack because he had sticky stuff in his artery. So here's what happens in the natural history of artery. A baby comes into the world and has, oh, no sticky stuff. The arteries are smooth as a baby's bottom. And then they go to school and they get sticky stuff, a little bit of sticky stuff, but they feel fine. And the great designer knew we're going to mess up our diet. So the arteries we need to have more arteries than we need, and they're wider than we need. But sticky stuff starts to build up. And around 20 years of age, notice, it starts to build up. Young adults, you don't want to start the best years of your life with rough edges and sticky stuff on your arteries, because you notice what happens, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and then between 40 and 60, the sticky stuff builds up too much and your arteries shut down. And a medical truism is every organ of the body is only as healthy as the blood vessels supplying it. You clog your blood vessels and the organs stop working. As simple as that. So again, go back to the early years of the artery, keep the sticky stuff off of your arteries. That's Brain Health 101. Playing golf the other day with a close friend, godfather to two of our children, Vince Fortunes, professor of neuropsychiatry at USC in Los Angeles. I said, Vince, when does Alzheimer's begin? Said Bill, Alzheimer's begins in adolescence. Why? Because the artery you just saw. That's when the sticky stuff starts to build up. You don't all of a sudden get Alzheimer's. It was building up in the 20 to 40 year age span. So the earlier you make changes, the better. Okay, now kids, let's go back to kids. Now look closely at this little slide. You'll notice there's a missing word. I love the program, No Child Left Behind. Great program, but they're missing something. It should be No Child Left on Their Behind. Once they took recess out of schools, the Ritalin dosage went up. Any relation? I think so. So let me take you back to my childhood. My fourth grade teacher, Sister Mary Ursula. Oh, God bless you. I know you're up there, Sister Mary. Ursula means little bear in Latin. Little bear had my number. Every day, she'd come over and said, Billy, you're staring out the window. That's because I wanted to be out the window. She said, you're fidgeting again. Go out and run around the schoolyard 3 times, come back and sit still. Work like a charm. That was my Ritalin. Fast forward this to several years ago. They did a study at Naperville High. I gave a talk there last year. Naperville High near Chicago, where they took a group of kids who were labeled with a bunch of Ds, ADD, ADHD. A lot were on medications, and they had them come to school a half hour early. They call it 0 period. And they ran them around the track for a half hour. Kids loved it. The girls complained a little bit about going to school sweaty, but it worked. And they followed these kids. Their grades went up. Their Ritalin dosage went down. They were happier and healthier children because they moved. Movement opened their brain to learn. Movement opened their brain to learn. Or what, as Dr. Ratty said, movement programmed the brain to sit in a classroom and learn. It opened the brain to learn. Move. Okay, so I call it NDD, Nutrition Deficit Disorder, or MDD, Movement Deficit Disorder. The new science of ADD, ADHD in a nutshell. Number one, it's a difference, not a disorder. Many children come into the world, they're wired differently. They have a different brain. They think outside the box. Given the right, and we call it channeling the child, not changing them. Given the right school, the right teacher match, the right food, smart foods, lots of movement, they grow up to think outside the box, to build better boxes. The world is a better and more exciting place to live in, with all these inventions coming out, with these kids who think outside the box. So the old treatment is, oh, you got ADD here, take this, next. Now, the new treatment is, it's a difference, not a disorder, number one. So you first move the child more, you feed them smarter food, you match them better with the child and the teacher and the school, and then fourthly, you medicate. And oftentimes, all 4 are necessary, but we do not start with the medicine first anymore. We start with movement, food, and matching. Okay, now, why did Dr. Mom say, go outside and play? Oh, the nature heals. Fabulous book by Dr. Eva Selhub. Eva is a Japanese neurologist, a professor of neurology at Harvard Medical School. Wrote a fabulous book on your brain on nature. And Martha and I learned this several years ago. We were invited over to give a talk in Japan. And Asian talks are rather long and slides are complicated. And so my brain around 4 o'clock, it was fried, it was gone. So our host, Mr. Saganishi, saw that and said, we're going to take you, I know you're tired, we're going to take you and Mrs. Sears out for some Shinrin-yoku, which I thought was a Japanese drink. So we get into the car and we drive up the top of a mountain and we get out and we walk through a forest of trees. And the Japanese translation, the English translation of Shinrin-yoku was forest bathing. The Asians have known this for centuries, that a good old walk in the woods, nature, sky, trees, leaves, a good old walk in the woods is one of the best medicines to mellow your brain. So go outside and play. Now, in a nutshell, the healing effects of nature, all the organs here, look at all what happens from the brain to all through your body by a good old walk in the woods. I call it E-Y-E, I feel good. I walk in the woods, the healing effects of nature. And again, this is all in our Transform 5 book. Okay, now that you know why movement is so good for the brain, let's talk about smart foods. The brain, above all other organs in the human body, is most affected, for better or worse, by what you eat. You put junk food into the brain, you get back junk behavior and junk learning. You put smart foods in the brain, you get back happy behavior and happy learning. Okay, number 1, salads and spices. Oh, my top spice is turmeric. Partner it with black pepper, it works better. So every night I have a nice big salad. It needs to be big enough so you can't even see the plate beneath the greens. That's a little clue for you. And if you want a little, and sometimes I will have a hot salad. I'll just take the bowl full of salad, throw it in a steamer for 2 minutes, yummy little olive oil and balsamic on it, yum. All right, salads with spices, antioxidants, because our brain rusts, it oxidizes. Next, snacking, smart snacks. I call it the rule of twos. The rule of twos, Dr. Bill's rule of twos, eat twice as often, eat half as much, and chew twice as long. Chew times 2, it's better for you, and you'll see in a few minutes why. Grazing is so good for the brain. Okay, seafood, go fish. Top fat in seafood is the top fat in the brain. Omegas, omega-3s, wild salmon. Number 1 smart food. And we have a book on this called The Omega-3 Effect. We don't have time to go into all this now, but if you want to learn more about good fish, bad fish, how much everyone needs, at what age, it's called The Omega-3 Effect. Now, next smart food is smoothies. A shake a day helps keep the doctor away. How many here in the audience, raise your hand, if you start the day with a nice big Juice Plus shake? Wow, good for you. All right, now number 5, I'm going to add number 5 because years ago I realized I would have my patients say, can you eat all these every day, these 4? Yeah, maybe. So I would add number 5, supplements based on science. Fruit and vegetable and omega supplements that fill in the gaps when you can't eat the other 4. Supplements based on science. Now we're going to go through these one by one now and show you why they're so good for the brain. Just in case there are a few skeptics in the crowd, let me introduce you to Oliver. Oliver was a 7-year-old boy. He had so many D's, he couldn't sit still and write. He was so fidgety. That's his illegible penmanship on the left there. 1 month after a brain food diet, the SMART diet. Notice how legible his writing is before and after. This study was published in one of the top pediatric journals in the world, done in Oxford, England, absolutely opened the eyes of the school teachers to get junk food out of schools and put smart food into schools. Thank you, Oliver. So notice that real carefully, how brain food can help school children. Now I want to take you into, look at this very carefully. You'll notice the guests there are Asian. A few years ago, I was invited over to give a talk in China by the China Nutrition Society. I said, well, I'd be happy to. Why do you want me to come over? I said, well, Dr. Bill, the Asians, especially the Chinese are eating like Americans. And they're getting sick and tired like Americans. Oh, okay, I'll come over. So while I was over there, I said, we also would like you to do a book called Raising a Smarter Child for China. And it's all finished now. And this is one of the pages out of the book. And I think you'll get the point. Would you like a neurologist referral with that? The kids get it. Sometimes the adults don't. You put sticky stuff in your mouth, you get sticky stuff in your brain. And oftentimes we have to go to cartoons to make the point. But when I showed this in China, it was like, oh my gosh, that really happens. Yes, it does. Okay, no more McStickies. Right. Now, babies. How many here have tiny babies that may be under a year or grandbabies? Oh, good. I want to take you into my office now and imagine you're bringing your baby or grandbaby in at 6 months. And at 6 months, we have what I call the growing little fatheads talk. Remember, the brain is 60% fat? And I say to a mom, and that'll probably kind of surprise her, you're growing a little fathead. So the first foods that we start with are full of healthy fats. The top fat food was breast milk. Breast milk is 40 to 50% fat. And Mother Nature does not make nutritional mistakes because fat is good for the brain, a perfect fit. So when you go on to solid foods, skip the rice cereal. What's missing in rice cereal? That used to be, it's still in all the books, or starting rice cereal. No fat. No fat for the little fathead. So we start with avocados. Good old yummy, munchy avocado. And then I have a sign in my office, salmon at 7 months. And that surprises mom. Really? Yeah. You mash up a little salmon. You mash up a little salmon and you put it on the child's tongue. And then we play a game called sprinkles. Now follow me closely because this is fun. One of the top complaints I get in my practice is, oh, my child does not like veggies. Dr. Bill, how can I get them to eat veggies? None of our children had veggies. And I have this new baby, I want them to crave veggies. I don't want them just to eat veggies, I want them to crave them. So I did an experiment starting about 3 years ago with every 6-month-old who came to my office. I would take ground up veggies from a Juice Plus capsule, 10 different veggies, broccoli, kale, all the good veggies, ground up. And they taste like veggies, they smell like veggies, they look like veggies, because they are veggies. And I say, now, Mom, follow me in the office. Imagine the office. I wish I were there with you because we often do this with a baby in the audience. And it's kind of fun when a baby kind of gets green all over their face. But I put a little sprinkle a little bit on Mom's wet finger. And the mom puts it on baby's tongue. And the baby licks it a little bit. So one day she puts a little tiny bit, next day a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And over months and months of the sprinkles, the babies crave veggies. And I'm going to take you through now how this happens. Now, follow me real quickly then, from tongue to brain to gut. I put the veggies on the baby's tongue. And on the tip of the tongue, there are thousands of little receptors, nerve fibers. And when the veggies hit the taste buds, they send thousands of biochemical text messages from the tongue to the brain, to the crave center, to the taste center in the brain. And the brain says, like veggies, and sends it all to its Facebook friends throughout the brain. Like veggies. Why? Because antioxidants, keeps me from oxidizing. Gets better. The head brain sends a bunch of biochemical text messages down through the middle of the body, called the vagus nerve, the nerve highway of the body, down the vagus nerve into the gut. The gut is called the second brain because it's so full of nerve fibers. So down, the text message tells the gut, hey gut, down is coming your favorite food, veggies. Register like. And they do. So you get that constant flow of text messages from the gut brain to the head brain to the tongue, back and forth and back and forth. And over, thousands of times of this, then eventually what happens? The child craves veggies. Shape, young, taste. The three magic words of infant feeding at a very young age. Okay, smart foods. 4, seafood. Fruits, primarily blueberries, the brain berry, greens, and nuts. Easy way to remember, go fish, go blue, go green, and go nuts. Okay, this is McKinney, age 7, after one of my talks, came up and drew me and gave me this picture and said, Dr. Bill, I will always remember the brain berry. Kids get it. Kids get it. Okay. Salads. Oh, grow your garden, grow your brain. How many here in the audience have a tower garden? Oh, good. Now, keep your hands up. Those of you who don't have a tower garden, I want you to talk to those who do have a tower garden that have their hands up and grow your own garden to grow your brain. All right, now there's a picture of me, and I'm standing in the backyard of a close friend, Dr. John Saran. John is one of the top internists doctor in Chicago. And he was telling me that he writes prescriptions every day for a tower garden, a backyard garden, grow your own. Notice those big charred and leaf and colored leaves. Wow. Now, where is the tower garden? The tower garden was actually invented, guess where? In Disney World, Epcot Center. So it's fun. So it was invented there. Actually, you grow your own, and my wish is every apartment has one on the balcony, every backyard, every classroom has one. And actually a Juice Plus company that has this tower garden, they've donated thousands of them to boys and girls clubs and schools and all. So grow your own, get a tower garden. Fabulous, fabulous food for the brain. Now, let me take you into the gut for a minute and why the gut is called the second brain. And it's also a second pharmacy. So picture, now this is in our T5 book, picture in the lining of your gut. The lining of your gut is called the microbiome. The microbiome, the biggest word in medicine in the last few years. Microbiome simply means gut bugs. The community of gut bugs. The community of bacteria that line your gut, trillions of them. And in return for free food and a warm place to live, they do good things for your body. And those good things are, they make medicines. Similar to what your silver lining does on your blood vessels. Notice all you have is just imagine right now. Imagine you've got trillions of little pharmacists inside your body making medicines for you. And the medicines you make are better than the medicines you take. That's going on inside. The mind microbe connection, it's called, where the head brain is continually text messaging the gut brain. How are things going down there? Yeah, everything is moving along fine. That's going on right now in your body. I wish we had time, but we don't have. If you want to learn more about the microbiome and the head-brain, gut-brain connection in a fun way, a lot of kid talk, go to our website, AskDrSears.com, and put in Dr. Pooh, and you download a free 50-page ebook on how the microbiome helps your gut feel more comfortable. And when you have good gut feelings in your gut brain, you tend to have good head brain feelings too in your head brain. They go together. Now, snacking. Why is grazing so good for the brain? Now look carefully at this slide. It says it all. Let's go up to the top one, George the Gorger. And guys, I'm sorry, you'll notice on the slides, the men don't look that healthy, but the women all do. That's done for political reasons. George the Gorger. George put sticky stuff in his mouth. We draw blood from George. And the sticky stuff level in his blood goes up and up and up shortly after eating. Sticky stuff goes into his brain, his heart, his gut, and his joints. Wow, he's got itis everywhere. Gracie the Grazer. Gracie eats with chopsticks. Incidentally, that is a great way to slow the family down. I use chopsticks for my salad. Chopsticks is the #1 tool we use in our weight management program in our office. Smaller bites, takes you longer to eat. You gain a few brain cells. And if you're still a gorger with chopsticks, use a non-dominant hand. Okay, Gracie the Grazer. Smaller plate, smaller bites, no sticky stuff on her plate, drinks lots of water, happy brain, happy heart, happy gut, and happy joint, because the sticky stuff level in her blood does not go up. 2 top words in medicine right now for brain health is avoid spikes, namely sugar spikes. And that's why the best thing that's happened in the last 20 years in food labeling. Are you ready for this? Starting this year, they will be forced to add grams of added sugar, because what all the nutritionists are coming out and finally divulging, it wasn't fat that made us sick and fat and tired. It was added sugar. And this is why now they will be required, and I can't hide it anymore, grams of added sugar. So the big push, you'll see a lot of food companies bragging, no added sugar, no added sugar. So that's the good news that's coming in the food industry. All right, now, I do this in my office when I'm talking about brain health, gut health, heart health. I say to my patients, do you eat 10 servings of fruits and veggies every day? A serving's a fist, so hold up a fist. If you got a big fist, a big serving is a baby fist, is a tiny serving. Very few patients say no. And no, I can't eat 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, doctor, I just can't. And most say no, very few say yes. So that's when I've added the fifth, supplements based upon science. So we've got smoothies, salads, seafood, smart snacks, and supplements based on science. And the 2 top supplements I use in my medical practice, because they are so scientifically proven and they're necessary and they're good for every organ of the body, is a fruit and vegetable and berry supplement called Juice Plus, and an omega blend, a Juice Plus omega blend. Again, the fathead again. So those are the 2 top supplements for the health of every organ of the body, especially brain health. Now, I'm going to go with you real quickly how to pick out any supplement. And we doctors joke about patients come in with their bag of supplements. And most of those supplements are a waste of money. They go in the top end, they come out the bottom end. They don't get into the bloodstream. They're not absorbed. It's called bioavailability because there was no science to test them. So always say, show me the science. Go to the website and look for two things. First of all, have the supplement been tested by reputable universities where they've given lots of patients, lots of people, often volunteers, the supplement, and then shortly after they've drawn blood from the person and measured that the supplement gets into the bloodstream. It's absorbed, called bioavailability. So it gets into the bloodstream. That's your first thing you want to look for. And secondly, have they followed these people and found it gets in the bloodstream and it does good things for the body? If those two things are met, that's a supplement you want to take. And this is why we chose in our own family, in my own practice, Juice Plus, the veggies, the berries, and the fruit. Ground up concentrates 31 different fruits and veggies in capsules or in tablets. Wow. Wonderful supplement, certainly for the brain. Now, at this point in time, Juice Plus is the only nutritional supplement I take because even I try to get 10 fistfuls of fruit and vegetables every day, but just to fill in the gaps and make sure I do, this is the only supplement I take. Now, what is it about Dr. Mom saying, eat a salad a day? Start the day with a smoothie, end the day with a salad. It's because the principle of synergy. Synergy is a magic word. All that simply means means we play better as a team. When you put a lot of vegetables together, like they do in a Juice Plus capsule, like you do in a salad, like you do in a smoothie, it makes every one of them work better. It's like 1 + 1 = 5. So that's the value of putting a whole lot. Remember what Mom said, put more color on your plate. This is the reason. This is the reason why. Now, science. Getting back to show me the science. This is a slide if I'm talking to a bunch of doctors. Doctor talk. Oxidative stress, inflammation, flow-mediated brachial artery vasoactivity, homocysteine, big word for sticky stuff. So I'm going to make it rather simple. I'm going to summarize 35 studies in 30 seconds as to what fruit and vegetable supplements do for your arteries. Basically, they help keep sticky stuff off the lining of your blood vessels so the medicine bottles can open. They help keep sticky stuff off the blood cells so the blood can flow better. And the better your blood flows to every organ, the better the organ works. That was simple. I think you can all remember that. So that was science. One of the top questions I'm asked in our, what I call it the Juice Plus Health Club. We're kind of a big family. I call it Juice Plus Health Club, and we're always asking for questions. Hey, my friend has cancer. To Bill, what can I advise her? Look carefully at the anti-cancer pharmacy. The pharmacy. That's one of the best medicines you can get for prevention of cancer. The anti-cancer pharmacy. So let me take you a little bit deeper into the body. And after you hear this and see this, you're going to rush out to your pharmacy and just fill the basket with a whole bunch of good stuff. Now, this is fascinating. As a cancer survivor, I wanted to learn why all these books were saying load up with fruits and vegetables. So this is why. Inside our body, we have trillions of cells called NK cells, natural killer cells, NK cells. They look like little Pac-Man. Remember the old video game Pac-Man? Now those NK cells, they're on patrol. And they're sitting there ready. They're not like the immune system cells that fight allergens. You have to have prior exposure. No, they're there anyway. They're like an army sitting there ready for a cancer cell. So if a cancer cell comes into the body or a cancer cell grows in the body, now don't be alarmed, but we make cancer cells every day. Every one of us, every one of you out there, you have cancer cells circulating in your body right now because the trillions of cell divisions every day, one or two are going to go haywire. But the NK cells is sitting there, oh, that cell went haywire. I'm going to go on a search and destroy mission. And then when the NK cell gets next to the cancer cell, look real closely, when the NK cell gets next to the cancer cell, it actually shoots a biochemical bullet into the cancer cell and blows it up. So right now, you have NK cells circulating in your body, shooting bullets and blowing up your cancer cells. What makes the NK cells fight better for you? Fruits and veggies and seafood. If your NK cell could talk, feed me better and I'll fight better for you. Another thing that makes NK cells fight better, and this is a mystery, we don't know why. I call it the belief effect. And that simply means that the better you believe you will heal, the better you will heal. Why we don't know, but here's my guess, and I truly believe. I believe, and I went through this when I was healing from my own cancer, that I believe I will heal. I believe God will help me heal. I believe that all the prayer around me will help me heal. And that belief center in the brain, wherever it is, I know it's there, hasn't been identified yet, but I know it's there, sends thousands of biochemical text messages to each one of my NK cells as a, hey, you soldiers down there, I'm giving you the command, go out and fight and kill that cancer, blow it up. And it's only a matter of time till they prove that mechanism in your body. Wow. That's why eat more fruits and veggies. Movement. Movement also makes the NK cells fight better for you. Eat more fruits, veggies, and seafood, go out inside and play, and your NK cells fight better for you. Meet Kristen, an example of NK cells fighting. Our daughter-in-law, Kristen, several years ago was diagnosed with what at that point was called an incurable cancer of the brain. There's Levi. There's Kristen after a long, multi-hour surgery to remove most of the tumor from her brain. She's about to wake up. What does a mother love when she wakes up? Her baby, cheek to breast. I'll never forget this scene. Fast forward now, 3 years later, visit to the doctor a few months ago. Doctor says to Kristen, I'm happy to tell you, your tumor is gone. I believe, in addition to the fabulous surgical and medical care she had a huge prayer chain, praying for the belief effect to happen. In the Juice Plus family, the huge prayer chain, and I think that's one of the top reasons she healed. Thank you, Juice Plus family. Okay, now I want to close now with talking a little bit about stress You probably don't have stress down south. Okay, well, we got it in California. Anyway, we have stress. So one of the early things I learned in healing is one of the top things in healing is to dial down your stress hormones, because stress hormones will make your immune system fight weird for you. So here's what I do every morning. I call it flotation therapy. Flotation therapy. I start every morning with an attitude of gratitude. I end every day with an attitude of gratitude before going to bed. So I go to bed with a few minute thank you, God, for. And when I wake up in the morning, I start my morning with a swim. And so I'm going to kind of demonstrate for you now what I think. And you can whatever peace recipe you want for your brain, you can do. And you can do this while walking too. But I do this in a pool. And a mantra simply means a rhyme or rhythm of any type of prayer or saying that you want to give that works for you. So here's what works for me. I'm in the swimming pool and I'm swimming the breaststroke. Thank you, God, for my life, 78 years. Thank you, God, for my wife, 51 years. Thank you, God, for my health, cancer survivor. Thank you, God, for my wealth, 8 kids. Thank you, God, for my MD. Please make it my ministry. And I take a deep breath, feel great. The attitude of gratitude, the way to end each day and begin each day. And when you begin the day that way, you're telling the brain, this is called preloading or pre-programming. When you begin the day that way, you're telling the brain, hey brain, this is how I expect you to behave. This is how I expect you to think the rest of the day. So enjoy beginning the day that way. And again, find your personal peace recipe, trash toxic thought, take a deep breath, swim or walk your worries away, have an attitude of gratitude to begin and end the day with, meditate more, agitate less. You hold those 5 keys in the palm of your hand. And as a summary, the T5 Brain Health Plan, do it, feel it, share it. Take what you learned tonight, share it with as many friends as you have. And when I leave tonight, I get what I call a high dose of what we doctors call the helper's high. That helper's high is that wonderful feeling inside that because of something I shared with you today will change your life. And you'll walk out of this room tonight with your personal toolbox of as many of those 5 tools you have, and you'll live a happier, healthier, and longer life because of something you learned tonight. Thank you. You've been a wonderful audience, and thank you for coming.